Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm going to be smoking up some spare ribs on my brand new Yoder YS1500, and I'm also going to be running a little experiment. Should you glaze your ribs or not glaze your ribs? Stay tuned. All right, so let's get started on this spare rib video. By the way, when I buy ribs, I look for this marbling that you can see right here on the surface. That's gonna give you a really nice, juicy rib. As you can see right here, they've already removed the breastbone from these spares. I'm just gonna square them off a little bit. Not much, really. And this rack right here, just a little bit as well. I'm going to trim off this skirt meat that you see in the back of the ribs. You can save this. You can throw it on the grill or save it for sausage, which is what I'm going to do. Save it for sausage. Take the skirt off of this one as well. I'm also going to be trimming this loose meat on this one side that's got the real small bones right around here. Keep it nice and square. And I'm going to toss this on the smoker, little pitmaster snack. And I'm doing the same thing on this other rack. Nice and square. Looks like the butcher partially removed this membrane and he cut up the ribs a little bit, but I can make that work. No big deal. But this one definitely has the membrane. I found it easiest to get a paper towel and just pinch this end right here and pull up that membrane. Now, if you're doing a bunch of these, you really don't have to take the membrane off. You just leave it on and score it with a knife. But I like to take the membranes off. All right, now that we got our ribs all trimmed up, let's go ahead and season them up. I'm gonna apply a little bit of mustard. This is gonna create a really nice tacky surface so that our rub sticks to the surface of the ribs. And trust me, you will not taste the mustard in the final product. All right, I'm gonna season these ribs up with this brand new Yoder Smokers pork rub, which is fantastic. And apply a good amount. As you can see, we have a good amount of pepper, salt, paprika, and the color on these ribs is gonna be fantastic while they're cooking and after they're done. Pat the rub down. Season the top of the rack. All right, this rack is looking beautiful. I'm gonna season this other rack. Then we'll see you guys outside at my Yoder YS1500 that's warming up at 225 degrees. Stay tuned. All right, my smoker is up to temperature, again, 225 degrees. I'm gonna load these ribs on the top rack. Check out that beautiful color from that Yoder Smokers pork rub. Yeah, buddy. So put the ribs on, and I like to squish them together. Just like that. You can actually see the ridges, and that's where we're gonna be cutting the ribs once they're ready. You can squish your ribs together. So this is maybe my fourth cook on the Yoder YS1500, and the one thing I can tell you is that this smokes a lot more than my YS640, and it was designed to smoke a lot more than the 640. So let's go ahead and slide that rack back in. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna run these at 225 for 2 hours, and I'll bring you guys back at that point. Stay tuned. All right, 2 hours into our cook. Let's take a look at our ribs. All right, so that bark is definitely set. So I'm gonna wrap these up in foil real quick. So I haven't spritzed these ribs or anything. So I'm going to add about 4 pats of butter to the top of the rib. Just like that. Real simple wrap. And I always bring 2 sheets of foil just in case I puncture through the foil. I have that backup right there. In this case, I didn't puncture the foil, so I'm just going to use 1 sheet. Put it back on my smoker, bone side down. Here's our second rack. Man, that sun is definitely blazing on these ribs right now. We're in the middle of winter and it's 70 degrees outside today. So just wrap these up. So I'm going to rotate these ribs. The ribs that were in the front are now going in the back, and the ribs that were in the back are now in the front. Check out the amount of smoke that you get with the 1500. This thing is a smoking beast. All right, we're going to slide our rack back in. We're going to smoke them wrapped for 1 hour. Again, we're running at 225 degrees. We'll bring you guys back in a minute. All right, so while the ribs continue to smoke, I'm going to make a quick glaze. By the way, I want to thank Justin from Baby Back Maniac. He's the one that gave me the idea for this glaze. He and Mike from Bauer's Barbecue did a video recently. I highly recommend you guys go watch that. In fact, I'm going to leave a link inside the description box so you guys can watch it at the end of this video. So I'm going to add 1 cup of water. This is just a small cast iron pot that I have. And 1 cup of sugar. Give that a quick mix. This induction burner right here is from Heston Q, just in case you guys are wondering. In fact, if you guys are interested in one, check out the links below and get yourself a nice discount. So our sugar and water is coming to a light boil. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of barbecue sauce, and you can use whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. I'm using this Cherry Bomb from PS Seasoning. So again, 1/4 of a cup. So in Justin's video, they actually made some simple syrup and added some barbecue sauce, and they both really liked that mixture versus just using a simple syrup. So again, 1/4 of a cup of your favorite barbecue sauce. Give that a good mix. You know what, I think I'm gonna add another 1/4 of a cup just to thicken up the simple syrup a little bit more. There we go, that's looking much better. So I'm gonna shut my burner off, let this cool down, then I'm gonna pour it into the squeeze bottle. We'll see you guys outside. All right, so the ribs have been wrapped for 1 hour. Total cook time is 3 hours. So what I'm doing next is I'm just gonna unwrap these and make a little boat with the foil. Oh yes, these are looking mighty righteous. So I've been foil boating ribs for a very long time. In fact, a lot of the competition guys like to foil the briskets just like this, foil boat them. It's really gonna dry up that surface. I dabbled into the competition circuit a couple of years back, and I quickly found that if I wanted to dry up the surface of the rib, well, you had to foil boat it and leave it inside your smoker for a little bit longer, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna let the surface dry up for about 15 minutes, and I'll bring you guys right back. So 20 minutes later, let's take a look at our ribs, see if that surface is nice and dry. Oh yeah. All right, let's get a quick internal temperature, see where we're at. We're sitting at 185, about 186. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna get my simple syrup or glaze, whatever you wanna call it, and just lightly place it over your ribs. Make sure that the entire rack gets some of this. It's gonna give us a really nice shine. So at this point, I want to get the internal temperature of the ribs to right about 200 degrees. As soon as it hits 200, I'll take them off, let them rest for about 15-20 minutes, and we'll see you guys inside. Stay tuned. All right, so the ribs are ready, and the total cook time was right at 4 hours. They have been resting for about 15 minutes now. And check out these beautiful looking ribs. So these are our glazed ribs right here, and these ribs have nothing but the rub that we used. So I'm going to take these out and cut a few bones off of each rack. In fact, I'm going to do this one first so I don't get any glaze on them. Ooh, they're still pretty hot. All right, let's take a few ribs off. And these bones really run to the right over here. Just got to feel for that bone and try to get right in between the meat and the bone. Looking good. Really nice smoke ring on these ribs. They smell absolutely amazing. And here are the glazed ribs. Check out that wonderful color, that nice sheen from the simple syrup. Oh yes. All right, let's flip these bad boys. Nice smoke ring as well. All right, let's look at them one more time. Appearance-wise, they both look very similar, with the exception of the surface of the glazed rib. I think the proof is going to be in the flavor. Let's give these a taste. All right, let's give these ribs a try. First, I'm going to try the rib with no glaze. Nothing wrong with that rib. Beautiful color. Here we go. That's a good tasting rib. Nothing wrong with that bad boy. Now let's try the glazed rib. Look at that. Again, from an appearance standpoint, these glazed ribs definitely win. But let's check the flavor. Here we go. This is definitely the way to go. I gotta tell you, that glaze really brings out that flavor in the rub. Got a little bit of that sweet, a little bit of that heat. This is a fantastic rib. All right, so my verdict is in, and the winner is definitely the rib with the rub and that glaze. Again, that combination of that sweet and the heat just does it for me. This is something that I highly recommend that you guys try out. Again, I want to thank Jason from Baby Back Maniac and Mike from Bowers Barbecue for the idea on the simple syrup recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this rib video. If this is your first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe at Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.